Son of a bitch! I shoved my finger into my mouth, tasting the metallic tang of blood after slicing my finger on the edge of a printed recipe sheet. There's normal pain, and then there's paper cut pain. It made me think of the saying, death by 1,000 paper cuts. The sharp, searing sting could easily be an effective form of torture. I sat back and looked around at the new furniture that had been delivered a few days ago. The ergonomic seat I'd bought cost more than all the furniture I'd ever owned combined. But Ty insisted I get the best of the best. I didn't like to be wasteful, but he'd argued it would be better to buy quality furniture that would last, rather than cheap stuff that would need to be replaced. Who was I to argue? Now that Ty was alpha, his parents had moved to a smaller cottage on the Keller estate, and we'd moved into the big house. The decision to convert one of the guest rooms so I could work from home hadn't been difficult. It would save on travel on the days I didn't have to report to the main office. I sat at the walnut desk that overlooked the rambling backyard. I wanted to review the list of potential fall recipes I'd been working on. Pumpkin risotto with sage, a hearty beef stew infused with red wine, and an apple pecan tart were just a few of the dishes that made my mouth water at the mere thought. There was something about the shift in the air each season that put me in the mood to create new dishes that reflected the weather. Making comfort food was my favorite season, so, of course, I'd have to test each recipe, sometimes multiple times. I hoped Ty wouldn't mind putting on a few pounds since I planned on cooking up a storm. As the alpha's mate, my role within the pack had changed, and so too must my career. It wouldn't be acceptable for the alpha's wife to be seen working for pack members. I'd no longer be able to work as a private chef in other people's kitchens. Now that I held a position of power, I had a whole new set of responsibilities I needed to take care of. Cooking had always been my passion, and the idea of giving up the business I'd worked so hard to establish didn't sit right with me. My catering company would continue to operate, though I would have more of a behind-the-scenes role rather than being directly involved. I devised a plan in a way that meant I'd be able to continue doing what I loved. The kitchen in my new home, it felt surreal to call the Keller estate home, was as spacious and well-equipped as any commercial kitchen. I'd cook from here, preparing meals that would then be delivered to my clients. As much as my life had changed since becoming Ty's mate, including the rise in my standing within the pack, I had to maintain some semblance of stability from my old life. I wouldn't feel comfortable just sitting back idly twiddling my thumbs. That was out of the question. But I wouldn't let go of my favorite hobby either. This way, I'd have the best of both worlds. I'd be Liza, mate to the pack alpha, as well as Liza, chef and small business owner. With this plan in mind, I turned my attention from the recipes to type up an ad for an assistant chef and driver. The requirements included culinary experience, a valid driver's license, and the ability to adapt to the ever-changing demands of our clientele. My company didn't just serve typical middle-class families. As my place in society had risen, so had the status of my clients. Whoever I hired needed to provide a 5-star experience because, frankly, that's what my customers expected, no matter their standing in the pack. I read through the job description one last time, a satisfied smile tugging at the corners of my lips. After posting it on a local social media page, I sent out emails to my clients, informing them about the new arrangements. My delivery service would come at no cost to them, as I'd been the one who altered the dynamics of our relationship. Those who understood would hopefully appreciate my efforts to continue providing them with delicious meals. Those who didn't, well, that was fine too. If my inbox was anything to go by, there would be plenty of people who'd happily take their place.